Today we're talking about the Miss Universe Philippines All Access videos. Thanks so much for clicking this episode. My name is Dani Walker. I'm so happy that you're here. If you enjoy content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications bell. If you haven't been keeping up with the All Access episodes, I would say you should do so because they're a really cool look behind the scenes and I feel like they give us more insights to the contestants and really how they are going to do. So I have a couple of comments about this. First, I will say, how in the world did the hosts get their job for these segments? Because, oh my gosh, put me on the list. I would love to have this job and get to work directly with the contestants of Miss Universe Philippines. I think that this organization does a really great job of showing behind the scenes and getting the fans involved and incorporating sponsors. And it's just more of what I would love to see at other national pageants in the universe system, or really any systems. But if we could do stuff like this at Miss USA, oh my gosh, I just really believe it would start to build the fan base for the competition. The other thing that I was really impressed about these episodes is just the size of the team and what's going into all the photo shoots and challenges and press conferences for the contestants. It looks like so much fun, but also there's just a lot of quality there. So I like that because I feel like since they're featuring sponsored items like shoes and jewelry, that the sponsors are also getting valuable content from the contestants. So it's a real win-win situation. Now I'm gonna do a really quick breakdown and review of all these episodes and kind of touch on some things that I noticed throughout them and contestants that were sticking out to me. It's important to note though that not every contestant was featured for these episodes, so there's a lot of favorites that you're not going to hear me mention in this episode. So the first contestant that impressed me in number one was Misamis Oriental, and she to me is somebody who is just going up and up and up in my favorites, and I can definitely see her in a top 5. I feel like at the beginning of this journey, not as many people paid attention to her, but she's really now starting to stand out. She has a really great elegance about her when she speaks, and she's very comfortable on camera. Also featured in episode number 1 was Bohol, and I've talked about this before. I think she's such a talented on-camera speaker. I also have noticed I really like the tone of her voice. It's so calming and serene, and so it's just nice listening to her. Also in this episode, she talked about her dogs, how she has lots of dogs and how 2 of them had recently passed. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel that. I had a dog that recently passed too. So, even little details like that, sharing that kind of can help you to connect with a contestant. And then last I want to mention Lou from Cebu Province. I really, really loved her look in this episode. Oh my gosh, she was in this blue custom 2-piece set and it was just so beautiful on her. She really, really stood out, and she's somebody where I've been really excited because you got to see her growth from the last time she competed until now. In episode number 2, my standouts were, not surprisingly, Misamis Oriental again. So she got a second interview in episode number 2, and then so did Lou. So that's really interesting to me. I can understand both sides of that when we see repeat contestants in these featured segments, because sometimes contestants are just great on camera. So of course you want to feature the ones that are going to really succeed and make your organization look the best. And then other times, though, I just wish we would still see everyone and more diverse footage of every contestant. I just want to give everybody a chance at the same time. But regardless of that, Lou got a second interview as well, and those 2 stood out for me there. I have to mention, if you're a pageant contestant and you found my channel because you want to prepare for your next competition, then click the description below to learn more about 2 of my courses. It's Rehearsed to Relatable, where you can learn how to create a personal brand for your next interview, and also the Content Queen course, which is a really deep dive into how you can manage your social media as a contestant or a title holder. In episode number 3, Taguig was interviewed, and what I really liked about it was how natural she was on camera. She seemed very, very relaxed and at home. I will mention, though, she used quite a few filler words in this interview, and we'll touch on a little bit more of that later. But then we also heard from Cebu City here, and I thought she also demonstrated a great example of being able to showcase personality while effectively communicating. In episode number 4, Bohol got interviewed again, still one of my favorites. Then we got to hear from one of my top picks, Makati, and I thought she was really smart in her interview because she talked about how she already uses the sponsored products. So I thought that she had a really organic way of talking about them. Right after her, we got to hear from Iloilo Province, and she did the same thing. She talked about how she already uses the products, and I just thought it was so smart. I also want to comment, I liked her on camera. I thought she was fun and lively. Episode number 5, to me, Albay stood out. I thought that she had a great on-camera personality, very likable. Then, Misamis Oriental got her 3rd interview. What? Okay, I'm like, give the other ladies a chance, right? I love hearing from her. I think she's amazing on camera, but I just thought, gosh, I wish we would have been able to give that opportunity to some other contestants. If you've been enjoying the All Access Behind the Scenes series, comment star down below. I want to know what you thought about it. In episode number 6, I really thought that Davao del Norte really stood out. She was so happy and had such a great energy about her, and then also just spoke really well on camera and about her experience. She seemed really comfortable. Episode number 7, my standouts seemed to be the one that had their 2nd interview. So the first for that was To Gig, and to me, I thought this interview segment was better than her first one because she eliminated those filler words that I talked about. And I think that that just comes from being more comfortable on camera over time. When you get that second chance, you're not overthinking as much, you feel more relaxed. Another contestant we saw again was Iloilo Province, and she did a really great job explaining, talking about the sponsors and cryptocurrency, which is obviously a very new thing in the world, and I thought that she really articulated it so well. She showed such great comprehension because they did also mention that the contestants got to learn from the sponsor, from the PH Coin sponsor, about cryptocurrency. And so you can tell that she really comprehended that, it sunk in, and she was able to communicate that to the audience. Then I would say that Cebu City, who came back again, also did a good job explaining and talking about cryptocurrency and really being a good ambassador of that and showing people that even if you have no knowledge of it, that it's easy to learn and that even beginners can benefit from it. So very smart. Episode 8 was just jam-packed with contestants. So let's talk about this. Bahol had her 3rd interview. Okay, whoa. And here we are. She always does well. So check, and check for her. She did great. Now, Lou was really fun. So Lou got her 3rd interview too, and it was funny because apparently they interrupted her in her room while she was still doing her hair and makeup. So her makeup was half on, and I just liked that she was a really good sport about it. She looks beautiful no matter what, and it was just a fun interaction. I actually liked that she was caught off guard a little bit, and also that she thanked one of the sponsors. Tagake had her 3rd interview, and honestly, she is just perfect to me. She's so consistent, and she just gets better and better. Let's also mention that Cebu City, 3rd interview, makes a lot of sense. She did well in the other ones. Why not bring her back? Makati came back for her 2nd interview here, and what I really liked is that when they asked her how she was doing, she immediately took the lead, and she didn't just say, doing fine. She actually explained how she felt, what was going on in the competition. She took the initiative when they asked her the question, and I really liked that because sometimes in interviews, you don't get a 2nd or a 3rd chance or another question, so make the most of every opportunity that you have. This was Pasay's 2nd interview, and I liked this one so much more than the first one in the other episodes. I thought that in her initial interview, she seemed very low energy, but in this one, in the last episode, she seemed very excited, and I was so happy to see that. She seemed more well-rested and energetic, and I say that because a lot of the contestants in these interviews talked about the crazy schedule, how they're really short on sleep, they're waking up at 2 in the morning to do their hair and makeup, and I feel that. I was never more exhausted than I was at Miss USA. So it is really challenging to keep that energy up and be on all the time. And I think that in this interview, she just seemed like she had that energy back. I loved it. And this is the energy I would like to see her bring, hopefully, into the interview because she's also one of my faves. That's it for today's episode. I hope that you really enjoyed this recap of the last All Access episodes. If you want to see more, of course, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And it would mean so much to me if you would check out the merch store before you leave to support the channel. And also, if you want to see more episodes like this, the other one I would suggest watching is the recent one that I created about my thoughts on the top 32 reveal. And of course, if you want to watch any other Miss Universe Philippines episodes, then just check out my Miss Universe playlist. Thanks so much for watching this one, and I really hope that you'll be back for lots more.